Good, well, for me, I guess it's good morning to all Game of Thrones fans and to the Talking Thrones, Nerd Soup, and this other guy that was talking about the keeping of the bloodline pure that um, to which Daenerys marries Jon Snow and has a child. You might want to be sitting down for this because while there's others out there that are trying to prove that this is inevitable, I'm about to blow your mind and burst your bubble. Sorry. Um, if anybody knows anything, and I understand it's a fictional story, you can't have a pure bloodline if only one of you are 50%, and I can prove it. The marriage of Daenerys Stormborn of the House of Targaryen and Jon Snow, who is of Winterfell, the king of the north now, is not pure blood, and I have the proof. As you know, as it has been covered. And I'm not refuting this because, yes, it was customary for a father to marry a daughter, mother to marry a son, brother and sister marry each other, and aunts to marry nephews, as Daenerys will probably do with Jon Snow, and uncles to marry nieces. So we already know how that works in the royalty bloodline. But if Daenerys is supposed to be this wise queen, why is she marrying somebody that was risen by the dead? Remember, she doesn't like sorcerers or sorceresses, but I'm thinking that she has not been told the truth. Even if the woman in red was to come forward and say, yes, did you know Jon Snow is risen from the dead? She's not going to come right out and say, well, I wrote him. Or if she does, she's going to beat around the bush and not tell her everything, which is kind of like deception. And what is it? If you're a true Game of Thrones fan, what is the one thing that Daenerys really hates? Deception, lies, trickery, and deceit. Now, how come I'm the only one who is a fan that actually sees this? It's like, put down your bowl of weed, stop smoking the crack pipe, you'll feel better in the morning. Obviously, my diploma from BCTI, which I graduated with honors, and having made the dean's list 5 times, will hold credentials, and I'm not even an actor yet. I'm only an aspiring actor. This is why I'll be the greatest asset to George R.R. Martin, because for him, I'd love to shake his hand, because this will be like he'll go to his post box, or mailbox, or whatever you call it in London, and he'll be like, oh, how in the hell am I getting this paycheck? And I didn't even do anything. And it's because I'm working for free and putting the check in his bank account. I'm putting money in Emilia Clarke's bank account. I'm putting money in Kit Harington's bank account. Why? Because I have attention for detail, thanks to a Chinese professor, Lee. So, here's how it is. Daenerys, of course, represents the House of Targaryen. We all know Jon Snow, of course, is of the Black Watch of Castle Black, and they are like the guardians of this wall. Now, of course, the human, William Bruce McEachern, don't come into this picture. And I mention this only because there's a redundancy here that is so great. I can't believe people miss this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, nobody studied how royalty works. See, I've only got less than half of royalty in me, but I'm told I'm not supposed to mention because there might be some animosity between that of England and those of old from Scotland. So I keep that to myself because I'm not trying to cause problems. But I am a smart feller, or as my stepdad would say, I'm a fart smeller. Not that I go around smelling farts, but gotta throw a little humor in here. So, anyway, so he is, of course, of the Starks. Now, how can you be of the Starks if you're supposed to be pure bloodline? Well, remember, former King Lannis trusted the power of a sorceress known as Melisandre. She is the woman in red, and she had done many things to deceive people of King Lannis's kingdom, including burning priests of the former gods they worshipped at the stake. Now, didn't Daenerys say that she did not tolerate torturing of men, women, and especially children? Aha, some contradiction is about to show up. Well, a secret society, though not mentioned, will be as powerful as those on the humans' world of Earth. They are called the Fire and Blood Society. Now, they won't surface right away, but because of whatever happens in Series 7 and 8, they will spark up, and Daenerys will return. And great will be her wrath. But this comes later. So, they are the most powerful secret society, and they don't like this things that are going on here either. Now, Daenerys sitting on her throne, of course, is kind of excited. Oh, yeah, cool. Here's this guy. I might be his aunt, but hey, I can do the wild thing and have a child with him, which is probably okay. It's all good. It's part of custom and tradition, right? Okay. But again, remember, the woman in red has her hand in things, and people are not seeing this. I don't know why, but people are missing the point. And I think George R. Martin is even testing people, and nobody even sees that he's testing people. How attention to detail are you paying attention? Perhaps this will prove my abilities to prove to George Martin you don't need to pay somebody else to write a movie script. I've already got several, and because I have attention to detail, and so hopefully he would think, this is a pretty cool dude. He's aspiring actor, and he's following in my footsteps, and he's not even trying to make money off my name, and wow, he's got movie scripts out, and he's not even an actor yet. So I would be one to prove myself to George R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones, that I am paying attention to every detail, and I do deep core research online. Well, Jon Snow and this other guy comes forward. Now notice he's in the background of Jon Snow. Didn't he mistrust the woman in red? He tried to warn King Lannis about this, because she told him, oh yeah, you'll have a great battle. And what happened? Bolton's wiped out King Lannis, but he wasn't quite dead yet, and Brianna Tarr exercised her duty as a knight and executed him for having his face in the black smoke that the woman in red gave birth to in a cave, which the guy in the background had seen and witnessed, that it was some form of evil, and it killed Queen Margie's first husband of the House of Tyrell. Ah, we're getting warmer. Did I impress you yet, Amelia? Let me have a few more minutes. I think I will. Okay, so Daenerys is pretty cool about this. You can see the grin on her face. Okay, I want to have a pure bloodline marriage, but because the White Walkers are showing up, they kind of do something naughty, which is, I guess, okay. Consummating a marriage that hasn't taken place yet already makes the child a bastard. Sorry, but truth hurts. That's just the way it is. You're supposed to get married first and then consummate the marriage. That's how it works in royalty, but that's not done. And I can understand, times of the essence, these White Walkers are going to stick around too long, and if they can climb up walls, what makes you think they won't climb up easily, being walking dead things, crawling up over the ice wall? Obviously, the first one to be taken out would be the Black Watch. Well, they try to say that, okay, if you see here on this genealogical chart here, Jon Snow and Daenerys gets married, right? Okay, and then they have a child, Jon Aerys or Jane Aerys, however you want to call him. But there is a problem with the theory, because if you look straight above his picture, they're trying to say he was born of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. But there's a problem with that theory. Nobody's been paying attention since Series 1, Episode 1. Well, I'm going to come to that in just a second. Let's do a recap here now. Remember, Jon Snow got stabbed to death because of some decisions or actions he was taking about a wildling girl that he was in love with. She got killed, of course. Of course, the kid's not her fault. He's just doing his job to protect the Castle Black. So he's now bleeding on the snow. They say he's born of ice. Now, remember, Daenerys is born of fire, so where's the water? I don't see any. To be born of ice means you're not stabbed to death and then brought back from the dead. Wrong. That's not good symbolism. That's a contradiction. If he would have walked out in the middle of a lake or a river, allowed himself to drown, and then they bring him back as a frozen ice cube, now you could say you're born of ice. So being brought back from the dead is not the same as being born of ice. Sorry, that's not how it works. Wrong symbolism. That's the first redundancy. Remember, she had brought back Jon Snow. You can see Jon Snow's friend in the background barely. Okay, and he's a wildling. And so she's bringing him back from the dead. So as he wakes up, oh my gosh, I'm naked and I got cuts all over me. Oh, it's okay, Jon. They'll take care of you. But anyway, so he is brought back from the dead. And again, where is this water? Now, she may have washed his hair, and there's symbolism about that, but it's not froze. And Daenerys walked into a fire trying to commit suicide because her husband, Khal Drogo, who she's deeply in love with, had died because a sorceress had lied about the special powers that she was supposed to be able to do. Well, the fire goes out, and she has 3 dragon eggs. They hatch, and she, of course, she's not burned, just got smashes and soot all over her, butt naked, and she's born of fire. Jon Snow didn't walk out in the river and get hypothermia and drown, so therefore he's not born of ice. He's risen from the dead. Again, that is contradiction. He's not born of ice. No, sorry, can't have your cake and eat it too. That was wrong theory. Somebody didn't pay attention when they're writing this because they're smoking something. I don't know what it was. So, it's not the downgrade, it's the author or HBO. It's just that apparently, while my credentials will stand, and I can prove it because I made the Dean's List 5 times, you guys were not paying attention. Maybe it would have been better if you would have just kept to the story that George Martin wrote instead of doing your own thing, because obviously not everyone, as you might think, are not paying attention. Anyway, you could pick up a role of control, and that's not the same as research. Research means you do like I have with my college credit hours. You go online, you research every detail, every weapon they use, what their lifestyle was, their laws, their customs. I've done it all since February, thanks to Emily and Clark having made a major impact on my life. So, sorry, he's not born of ice. I hate to burst your bubble, but that's the truth. Now, we all remember Khal Drogo, right? Okay, what was one of the things that he did? Well, he didn't like the fact that Daenerys' brother was so bold, and he poured gold over his head, said, "Here is your crown fit for a king." Well, Viserys kind of had that one coming. He didn't really treat his sister very well. And, if anything, Khal Drogo had hoped to be the one to assist Daenerys to get this Iron Throne of Swords for the realm of the kingdoms. So Daenerys kind of bit it. He was all gung-ho. He had hunger for the power that comes with sitting on the Iron Throne of Swords, the realm of the kingdom. That was his own undoing because he was too bold and forward about it. Well, the sorceress is like, "Oh, yes." And you can see Daenerys in the background. "I can heal you." "Sure, you can." And Daenerys there is just a maid. Wrong. So, that was a lie. So she tries to commit suicide. And yep, there's a dragon on her shoulder. They hatch. Took a super hot fire to do it. And there she is, butt naked with soot. Guess you'll have to wash her hair. So she pretty much, and eventually, long story short, burns the sorceress to the stake and never trusts sorceresses, wizards, warlocks, because, again, they're all liars. Remember what happened here? Again, stupid warlock thought he was going to have Daenerys chained up for all time because she has these dragons. They're still babies, of course. And she just utters a Valerian word, and guess what happened to that warlock? You're burned. What a stupid moron he was. Well, again, she don't trust sorceresses, warlocks, wizards. I don't care what you say. She don't trust them. So why would she trust this one here? That, oh yeah, you can marry Jon Snow. I mean, yeah, granted he's risen from the dead. She didn't say, well, I'll make an exception. I'll trust some sorceresses if they can prove themselves and create a great miracle, but I won't trust those that fail. No, she didn't say that. She said all sorceresses, wizards, and warlocks were not to be trusted. because as far as she's concerned, she's the power, they are not, and they all get burned or, pretty much extinguished. So, what is the one key thing that the woman in red is most notorious for? Deception, lies, trickery, deceit, and that's tools that can be used for former King Lannis to defeat the enemy. Okay, Daenerys don't operate like that. She don't need to lie, commit trickery, deceit, and do deception, because while she's kind of acting like this series, but more subtle about it and making mistakes, and they start building eventually up to Series 7, the mistakes she's making. She don't depend on sources. She's got 3 dragons. She don't need that. I mean, obviously, someone don't really have much faith in her, or they wouldn't have had it where she's going to trust this woman in red. So again, she goes in this cave, gives birth to a black smoke, has the face of King Lannis, and oh my gosh, poor King Tyrell, who is the younger brother or distant cousin to former King Lannis, he gets killed. And of course, now Queen Margie is a widow queen. She wasn't sure she wanted to be queen, but then she was betrothed to King Joffrey, and we all know what kind of a spoiled brat he was, and probably never been spanked in his life. But he got poisoned, and then she marries the younger brother, Tommen's, and we all know what happened to the temple, and so long story short, yada yada yada, he takes a nosedive off the palace. So again, the woman in red is known for quite the evil spells and things. But you got to remember what George R.R. Martin said. She was Daenerys Stormborn, the Unburned, Khaleesi, and Queen Mother of Dragons. Slayer of who? What? Oh my gosh, warlocks. That means not just them. She's not going to say, oh, I'll slay the warlocks, but I'll go and let a sorceress live. No, she didn't. Or she wouldn't have had the one that lied and said she could heal Drogo burned. Oh, I see, said the blind man as he picked up his hammer and saw. So, breaker of chains, and there was no one, I repeat, no one in the world that she could trust. So why would she trust a woman in red? Okay, you see, there is a problem there. So, the woman in red said it best. Mistakes were made. And boy, were they ever in HBO. So here is the full Targaryen, House of Targaryen genealogy. And disregard the one that has the little sun above it. That's where this human, William Bruce, who after I marry her and she adopts my heraldry because she's afraid that, well, she can't marry me because usually the king sits on the throne, the woman or the queen follows in his stead. William tells her in the motion picture, which is my movie script, that he's not allowed to do this. And so that's why she adopted his heraldry and is allowed to sit at her right hand, calling in her stead. So he gets a place on the genealogical chart. So again, for right now, to explain the illegitimacy marriage of Jon Snow and Daenerys, we'll just go ahead and disregard that, like you don't see that there. Because again, I'm not in the world yet when all this is taking place in Series 7, Series 8 of the original Game of Thrones. So, as you zoom in, you see that this chart here, and I had to fix it because, again, there is something that didn't make sense. They tried to claim that, okay, yes, Jon Snow will marry Daenerys. Okay, can't get pay on that. Yes, it's probably bound to happen. But it's not a legitimate marriage. And here's why. He was not born of this one who is actually Edward or Ned Stark's sister. Because remember, King Baratheon was in love with Ned Stark's sister. And so I guess something happened. They don't show exactly what, but they have this monument that he goes down and visits. So, no, Jon Snow is not the son of Ned Stark's sister and some Targaryen person, because she was a Stark. Why is it that Ned Stark's wife did not like Jon Snow? Because, remember, we're King Baratheon and Ned Stark, even though he wanted to spend time at home, he was bound to do his duty for the king. And they reflect back on the Mad King, Kingslayer killed him. Of course, Daenerys not happy about that because that was her father, even if he may have acted psycho or something. I don't know. No, they don't really show that. I heard they made a film about it, but then they withheld it. So in any case, Ned Stark tells the king, yes, those were bad times during the time of war, and men do many things. And then he freely admits, yes, I slept with this Targaryen woman, and this child was born. Now, if you go again, and remember, Bran, who's got the vision of foresight, is with this guy when they finally reach this red leaf tree, and he's standing with Bran as he's watching his younger father, who's probably a teenager or something like that at the time, his young 20s, way before any of the Stark children were born, has to fight these two Targaryen guards. And they're probably torturing this one Targaryen gal who would be the oldest sister to Daenerys. Because Daenerys and Viserys are probably in the castle, in King's Landing, because her father's sitting on the throne. And so he hasn't been slain yet. So, in a time of war, as Ned Stark had admitted, he got this Targaryen woman pregnant. All right, well, that would be Rhaenys Targaryen, the oldest sister to Daenerys. And Catelyn never forgave him for having that affair. In fact, she even said there was a time she wished Jon Snow was dead. She hated Jon Snow with a passion because he was born of Ned Stark, that's true, but he was only half Stark and of this Targaryen woman. So how can he be born of the sister of Stark and Stark guy? See, that's stupid. That don't make no sense. You're not going to admit to having gotten a woman pregnant if it actually, was of your sister. So no, he even said he still loved his son, Jon Snow, so he's only 50% Stark, 50% Targaryen. So it's starting to make sense yet? Okay, I know I'm only should be pretty impressed for now because we're going to the next step. The only way that such a thing would be, as you see it here again, is that for the marriage to work, for him to be full pureblood Targaryen, is that he would have had to have a Targaryen mother and a Targaryen father. If anybody knows anything about royalty and genealogy, birthing, the XY chromosomes, all that, if you're going to do the story, do it right. You just can't say, "Oh, today I'm going to be Targaryen." And, to be like me say, "Today I'm going to be the king of Chapaluba." Sorry, it doesn't work that way. You have to be born of that lineage. It would be kind of stupid for me to say, "Oh, okay, today I'm going to be a relative of John F. Kennedy." No, because I would have to prove the bloodline. If there's no bloodline connection, no, you cannot be. I cannot be a relative of John F. Kennedy. Sorry, not how it works. So, this is false. Okay, obviously Ned Stark isn't, even though it's commonplace to do incest, Ned Stark didn't sleep with his sister to get her to be pregnant with Jon Snow. And how would that work if he's supposed to be part Targaryen? Because then he's only all Stark. See, again, that's ridiculous. It didn't happen. So this is false information. Okay, so what you have here is when she marries Jon Snow, okay, be it a child named John Ares or Jane Ares, there's an error. You can't have an illegitimate child born who would be the rightful heir to the Iron Throne of Swords for the realm of the kingdoms, because this could be contested, not a doubt. Not pure Targaryen bloodline is here, seen here. Therefore, born of a risen dead man, not born of ice. And the fact that the woman in red is the one that risen him, that makes the child illegitimate. And so what you get is another bastard. And that's a bad mark on the Targaryen household because I don't think she's ever had bastard children. So, in which case, sorry, that's not going to work. But, go ahead and, they get married. But this is where my movie scripts come in because she has been duped and fooled. You never would have thought that somebody would eventually pull one over on Daenerys, and why she didn't see this is beyond me, because we're talking about a powerful queen here. She's never lost a battle. She's never been fooled. She can see trickery. But this woman in red must be more powerful than Daenerys, or she would have seen this, and she did not. So Daenerys is not that strong after all. It took the sorceress, like the woman in red, to completely brainwash her, fool her, and she fell for it. So, the next thing is that, remember, again, going back again a bit, Khal Drogo said that, yeah, here's your golden crown to Viserys, and guess what, Viserys dies because he was too bold and forward about wanting to throw the sword for the realm of kingdoms. But here is the breakdown of their belief system. Okay, we'll start with Daenerys here, and you can see by the serious look on her face, she trusts no one. Okay, she claims she doesn't have a gentle heart, but when this human comes in the world, she eventually does. The reason why she don't have a gentle heart, and she probably claims this, is because too many people have taken advantage of her. Too many people have lied to her. They promise her something they can't deliver. I mean, you even look at Dario, okay? He doesn't even hold a minimum of a duke, so that's why she just said, no, I can't marry you. You know, sometimes you gotta get married for political reasons. So, sorry, Dario, you were out. You know, you were good for her in bed, but that's all she wanted you for. Sorry. So Daenerys then had her belief system. I mean, detests lies, deceit, trickery, and deception. She detests those who deny one's justice by trial. You know what happened? She had his head taken because the other one, the Harpy, was supposed to be tried, and that didn't happen. She detests torture to men, women, and children. That's why she said, okay, put the slave masters on the cross and take those that were slaves that nailed the cross down. Okay, see how I've been paying attention here. Now she wanted to rule the people who will love her. People aren't going to love her. She allows Dothraki to rape little girls and wives. No normal kingdom would do that. Take back that which is rightfully hers because her father, the Mad King, sat on the throne. That would make sense. Marry one of pure bloodline. Jon is not. Now you marry for political reasons, which is sometimes required. She was right about this to Dario. Marrying a nephew, brother, father is acceptable by her customs. That was considered normal back then. And she worships the gods of fire and ice. Now you take a look at Khal Drogo. Now this was her first true love. What is it he said at the time when this one tried to poison her? I will rape the women and the young girls. And he was injured by one of his own trying to contest his authority. She trusted a sorceress for the first time to promise to heal him and failed. When she got knocked down to the ground by some rude Dothraki gentleman who didn't trust Drogo and refused to follow her, even after Khal died, the sorceress delivered a child, but she never got to see her child. And as payment for trying to raise Drogo, although he was like a slobbering idiot, sorry, no offense, but that's what it was. That's not what Daenerys wanted. She wanted him to be normal as he was before he got injured, and the injury took infection. So, as payment for a sacrifice, she took her child as soon as it was born, and therefore that was for her services. That did not go well, so she got burned at the stake, and she tried to commit suicide by kneeling by her husband with the 3 dragon eggs that eventually hatched. That's why she was born to fire. And look at the woman in red now. Remember, there's also a time that although they did a blooper, she takes the necklace off, she looks still normal. That probably was a blooper that somebody did point out. Good job there. But there was also a time when she takes the necklace off, she looks like some alien, old wrinkled butt and everything crossing the bed. Ew. If you knew then who you're getting in the bed, you probably would never sleep. That was like just totally gross. So, what is her beliefs? Well, one true God is the fire god. She doesn't believe in an ice god. To defeat an enemy, one must be able to deceive an enemy using trickery, deceit, lies as tools to get victory against an enemy. She burned the former King Lannis's daughter at the stake as a sacrifice. You think Daenerys would trust somebody who, if she knew that she burned this child, why would she say, well, I don't like the idea of a child being tortured by the slave masters nailed on the cross, but it's okay if I trust this one who burned a child in the stake. Contradiction. Sorry again. Once again, people screwed up there. Redundancy. Okay. Rose Jon Snow from the dead, not born of ice. Again, why would she trust a sorceress when she pretty much hates wizards and sorceresses and she pretty much does away with them? Redundancy. Again, contradiction. She lied to Daenerys about Jon Snow or subtly kind of steers around the truth, and she worships the fire god. So you see, Daenerys is not using her intelligence, and she's supposed to be more intelligent than that of a human being, because she's on this alien world, which I have proven already. And so she didn't catch this. Again, we go back to Jon Snow and this guy who once served former King Lannis. Now, he's in the background of Jon Snow, so let's start with him, okay? He witnessed Melisandre giving birth to evil black smoke that killed Marjorie's first husband, King, with the face of King Lannis. Okay, did he forget this or something? What is he now brainwashed by the one in the red, or maybe she could cast a spell on him? Who knows? Okay, he's not going to say, "Oh yeah, you should marry her because the woman in red said so." I mean, come on, there's something wrong here with this picture. Okay, he doesn't approve of her torturing a Stark relative with leeches, and then he helps that Stark family member escape on a rowboat. So did he miss that part? It must be because I'm paying attention. Okay, he doesn't approve of sacrifice to others by burning them at the stake. He never did care for that. He doesn't believe she is who she claims to be. Boy, if only he knew. But she never removes her necklace collar thing in front of him. So again, he has no clue what she really is. On the other hand, we look at Jon Snow. He's a walking dead man. Granted, he's not like a total zombie. I mean, he can still talk and probably function like a normal man. But he's not born of ice in the element like Daenerys was. To be risen from the dead is not the same as being born of ice. When he walks out in the middle of a lake or a river and drowns and is frozen to death, dies from, they call it hypothermia, and then they bring him back. Okay, now you're born of ice. That never happened. So he's only 50% Targaryen, 50% Stark. That equals not pure blood. Now, he does call for an alliance to defeat the White Walkers, but only has 50% legitimate claim to Winterfell's throne. So, what are the results that we have here now that I have unlocked the illegitimate secret that probably nobody was paying attention to, and only I did, because I have that skill. Well, like Viserys, Daenerys started craving the power. She took Dothraki with her, forgetting that her husband said, "Yes, I will rape the women and the young girls." But yet she hates torture. Contradiction. She would not tolerate that. So apparently there's a screw up there. So she's slipping up. Next, let's see. Her own undoing, of course, for craving the power, even though she's subtle about it. Wants to keep bloodline pure and consummates a marriage not yet taken place. Thus, the child known being born would be a bastard by the custom, or if it's a girl, born a bitch, because Jon Snow and her did not have an actual wedding. I can understand because they got to fight the White Walkers, but still, if you don't consummate a marriage and get pregnant after a wedding, sorry, the child's illegitimate. That's the way it works in royalty. You can go ahead and argue the point, but that's because you probably are like most people I've ran into. You hate being proven wrong. And so, while I'm right and you're wrong, that's just the way it works. And my movie scripts will go out because it's not only free, producers will and the author will make millions of dollars off my movie scripts because I'm not selling my movie script. I will give it for free just for the experience and expenses of acting out the human part. That comes much, much later. Let's see. Trust a woman in red, a known sorceress. Yet, what is it? She hates wizards and sorceresses? Again, contradiction. She would not say, in fine print, "Well, I'll trust you because you brought my nephew back to life, so now I can do the wild thing with him in bed and have a child with him, even though we're not married yet." Sorry, wrong. So, again, more redundancy. Especially the one who burned a child at the stake. She's not going to say, "Okay, it's all right to burn a child at the stake, but not nail a child to a cross." Again, contradiction. She does not tolerate such things done to a child. So I don't think she either knows the truth or she got brainwashed, and somehow the one in the red is more powerful than Daenerys, because otherwise you can't have your cake and eat it too. Something was amiss here. So, in which case then, as it would be in Game of Thrones, the missing link lost page at a time. there's a great invasion, as she does try to marry Jon Snow once she comes back from whatever it is that happens after series 7 or 8. And after 3 days of having the throne, the great invasion with 3 new factions beyond the edge of the known world overthrow her, and she, as you can see here, is not very happy about this. Well, that's because she made the wrong choices. They see her as evil because, again, if she's supposed to stand up for children, why would she, even though, granted, yes, I understand, she has no control over how the Dothraki do things, bring Dothraki into Westeros to rape women and young girls? No family member of any house, be it medieval time period or what have you, it's going to tolerate some raping savage race to do that. So because she brings them over, she's evil, and thus she deserves to be dethroned, and she will be. So that is the end results for bad decisions that she's made, trusting the wrong people. And it contradicts George Martin's thing as she trusts no one. Well, she certainly made the wrong trusting then, because that's what happened. So, for Game of Thrones fans and those people that like to bring out their theories, I mean, granted, yes, she probably will marry Jon Snow. Yes, she'll have a child, but the child will be a bastard or bitch. And the fact that Jon Snow is not her pure bloodline. So let me put it down to a third grader or a kindergartner's way of science, so people can understand. While people seem to have their own theories, good try, but I'm paying attention here, so I have the floor now. So, using the banners, this is the way the laws of physics and science works. It don't matter if you're on planet Venus, or on Daenerys' planet, or in the human William Bruce McEachern, who later becomes known as William Bruce Targaryen, because he's allowed to take her last name's world of Earth. This is the way it works throughout the universe. A child always inherits both parents' traits. Duh! Okay, so Ned Stark does a wild thing with the oldest sister to Daenerys. Okay, Jon Snow is born. He's 50% Stark and 50% Targaryen, as represented by the banners to the left. Daenerys, on the other hand, because it was commonplace to have brothers and sisters marry each other, her and Viserys are born because of the practice of incest, keeping the bloodline pure, and so she's 100% Targaryen. So, what happens if she marries Jon Snow? Well, as a child is born, the child then breaks it down in half. The child has now only 25% Stark bloodline and 75% Targaryen, because as 50% of her bloodline is broke down, and half of the 50% of the Targaryen and Jon Snow is broke down, that's still 25. 25% plus 25% equals 50%. Now you got 50% plus her 50%, but not all of that. First 50% is pure, so minus 25% for the Stark. That means he or she, whatever the child turns out to be, is only 75% Targaryen and 25% Stark. Pure bloodline means it has to always be 100%. It don't matter if he was born from someone who was a Targaryen. Just being born from somebody does not make you pure blood. Okay? Apparently nobody has studied medieval times and royalty like I have, and I'll argue this till the cows come home. So, or until I see Daenerys actually come here on her dragon and gives me a good time riding on her dragon. I don't see the dragon flying around, so sorry, reality hits, and that's just the way it is. So, again, here's a better example, in case you still don't get the concept. Okay, to the left, human example. A U.S. citizen marries a U.K. citizen. So what do you get? You get half of percentage of U.S. citizen, half percent of the U.K. citizen. So you get a U.S.K. citizen, okay, because the child inherits from both parent, mother, and father. For the second example, Targaryen. Always, again, a child born inherits 50% of both parents. It's not just one-sided. That's becoming the child that is born. So Targaryen marrying a Dothraki, though it's never mentioned, it becomes they're either a Taraki or a Dothgarian, because again, 50% from both parents. Now, the child that was born of Khal Drogo, even if he was to survive and lead her to the Iron Throne, what's never mentioned, although I have proven this, the child would only had one claim, and it would have not been to the Iron Throne. Sorry, again, you have pure blood, it has to be Targaryen marriage, and that never happened. So, the child born of Khal Drogo would have been illegitimate for Iron Throne of Swords, because not being a pure Targaryen bloodline. But because the same customs for Targaryens are not the same as Dothraki, that child would have been, by Dothraki customs, legitimate to follow in Khal Drogo's lineage for being the next Khal king. So you see how that works out? So in the end, Daenerys here was fooled. I'm sorry to say this, but wow, I can't believe she was fooled that badly. See, this is where the prophecy about the human comes in. She is represented by the largest red dragon, okay? And the gray dragon comes from another world, okay? Not as strong, that's why he's smaller, sitting on his haunches, okay? She takes him under his wing, nurtures him, but because he's a dragon with 4 legs, as opposed to, say, a dragon with only 2 legs, she falls for this one. And so again, symbolism being everything in her world, the love of 2 dragons takes place. Purple, and of course, symbolically, the gray dragon. Once they fall in love, they will have half human, half Targaryen children, because she's not going to be barren forever. It takes somebody from another world to have her be pregnant and have children again. The woman in red, of course, will meet her demise, but not until Game of Thrones 3, Dance of the Dragon and the Demons. And when Daenerys comes back, you wouldn't want to be in the wrong side, because she don't like being fooled. And if anybody knows anything about Daenerys, her wrath will be great, because that will piss her off to no end. So when she meets this human, that's me, she's not going to see me as just one that has gift of knowledge to give her these medieval weapons that she's only got one type of catapult. I'm giving her all kinds of catapult. She's also going to see me as being the greatest treasure, and that's why she calls me her pet, because I unlock secrets for her, and I'm leader of her world. I unlock the secrets of the Valyrian Doom. I also unlock the secrets about how things work, the bloodlines, and she will come to realize that she was duped by the woman in red. And so when her and the woman in red finally meet, she's going to give the woman in red a taste of her own medicine, basically saying, well, if you believe in your fire god so let's see you not get burned. The rope will merely burn off, you'll be able to walk away, right? Well, not trying to spoil it for you, but it'll be the end of the woman in red. And thus, case in point, Daenerys will prove your point. You're not that powerful after all. You're one that fooled me way too many times, even at the time when I married Jon Snow. He was in pure bloodline, though he is my nephew and still love him. I would have never made that mistake had I known the truth. So again, back to the Secret Society, it is sworn because whatever happens after Series 7 or Series 8, if they try to kill her off by White Walkers, she won't shatter like glass, like the White Walkers, even if dragon glass is used. She'll be like Conan the Barbarian, starred by Arnold Schwarzenegger. She'll probably just be on the other side of the wall, and since in her world, decomposition of a body don't happen for 5 months or 5 years, because it's not like that of Earth. It's even longer if you're on the other side of the wall and the elements is very, very cold. So, kind of similar to Conan the Barbarian, she's more or less a sleeping beauty ready to be awoken. That's when the Fire and Blood Secret Society decides it's time to rectify things that should have never happened, and she'll want to correct certain mistakes anyway. I mean, at first she'll be a little bit stubborn, and try to marry Jon Snow, like I said, but that's come the miniseries, Game of Thrones, the missing link locks paid the time, she gets overthrown, and it's a palace visionary that says, had you waited a little longer, you would have had that Iron Throne, because it's someone not of this world or any known kingdom that will lead you to this victory. So I hope I made it helped everybody out to see that this marriage is going to be illegitimate. And thanks to the redundancies, I'm not putting it down, but thanks to the redundancies, this leaves a whole new open era for new movies, and Daenerys' saga of royalty will come out living happily ever after. So, have I impressed you yet, Emilia? And yes, I do know how to pull out a chair for ladies. She said, let's table, open doors, but I don't know London very well, so I'll probably open up the driver's door for you. And I'd love to meet your father. I think he and I would well, I'm hoping I make a good impression on him, but my dad here said that if I'm very nervous, which I will be, then that would be a sign of respect, because thinking your dad's like 7 or 8 foot tall, but anyway, it'll be so cool to meet you in person. So, with my college education from BCTI, I hope I made a good impression on Emilia Clarke, also known as Daenerys Stormborn of the House Targaryen, and the author, George R. Martin. I have, if this was a test, been paying attention. So, who knows, maybe you'll surprise me, you or Emilia, and put a YouTube video on in response to my unlocked secret. Because you can't refute the facts. If you're going to write a story and base it on how a child is born, you can't just have a child inherit only one side. Jon Snow is not pure blood, because Ned Stark had consummated with an oldest sister to Daenerys, and that's how Jon Snow was born. It was not with a sister, so somebody got the genealogy wrong. Sorry. And so that's how the chain events will come in the very near future. So while I act for free for just experience and expenses, until I can get my master's degree, be a certified actor, and get actual movie scripts to act in other movies, everybody else can shake my hand, thank me for helping them make more millions of dollars, including the author, the producer, and all the actors and actresses that would have their parts, because this is just something I want to do. For me, this is quite fun, and I can't wait to emigrate to the United Kingdom, making history for the UK and the very first American Englishman to emigrate and swear my allegiance before the Queen. Thank you, and have a great day.